Hi there, Cancer. Thank you for joining me for your year 2014 forecast. I'm going to give you the structural background of your situation. The detail, of course, as normal, comes from the weekly and monthly forecasts. But the year begins with a solar return, and the Sun is combining with Pluto in your 7th solar house, the sector of relationships, relating, and competitive pursuits. Now, Pluto's been in this area for the last 5 years. It may be the tiniest entity in the zodiac, but it's mightily influential. And with the Sun, this points towards a transformation. And this transformation has been ongoing for some while in the way that you link with others, and it's going to be ongoing for much of this year. It's an exciting time for your relationships, for sure. Remember too, you have Jupiter in your own sign, the planet of growth and optimism. Saturn, the planet of structure, is in your sector of dreams, of children, and also of talents and of romance. Now, Saturn is not necessarily a very easy influence, but it's all about hard work. Jupiter is about making the most of our talents. And of course, the Sun and Pluto, well, the Sun's about our core energy. So relationships do seem to be at the heart of what's going to be unfolding for you in the early parts of this year. The complication, however, comes from the fact that there is a T-square applied to the Sun and Pluto's combination. This comes from the role of Uranus, which is at the top of your horoscope, influencing work and your life role, but also Mars, the planet of drive, which is in a very sensitive area. Now, Mars unusually is going to be in this sensitive area for an extended period this year, right through to pretty well the end of July. So that's 7 months. Ordinarily, it just takes 6 weeks to move through each zodiac sign. From August onwards, it goes back to its normal pattern. But for the first 7 months of this year, I do feel that there could be times when you may have to fend off a temptation to be rather defensive if anyone criticises you, or there could be a sense that you're going to be very, very sensitive to anything to do with the family or where you're living. But because of that opposition with Uranus, perhaps some of the restlessness may come around your work situation. For example, there may be an opportunity to improve your lot, but it may mean up in sticks and moving somewhere else, which then has an impact on your home life. And because both of these planets are squaring up with Pluto and the Sun, ultimately, what goes on in terms of your emotional health, your work situation, and your role in life can impact on your relationships. So you just need to be conscious of this. But before the end of January, another T-square shapes up. This also involves Uranus and also Pluto, but not the Sun and Mars. This one includes Jupiter. Jupiter being in your sign at the moment. Now, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so it's a brilliant location. It's going to be with you through to the middle of July, so it's certainly a time to demonstrate your talents and have confidence in what you do. But don't be overconfident between the end of January and the middle of May, because that could see you coming across as someone who's a bit of a tyro, who always wants their own way, who is almost too evangelical for your own good. Now, the square with Uranus, ironically, can actually be very fortunate, but it has another side that if we're overconfident, that fortune can soon ebb away. So you need to, again, measure your approach in the way that you interact with others. People are used to, in the past, perhaps avoiding confrontation at all costs, but you're now setting a new template for yourself where you're much more up for the challenge of engaging with other people, but that can cause breaks in relationships where some people aren't used to that with you, or perhaps they see in you as being too self-concerned, too self-centered about getting your own way in all sorts of alliances, and it's something you need to be conscious of. This takes us through to the eclipses of April, the first set of eclipses of the year. Now, in a very positive sense, this can help to set you up. The lunar eclipse, which occurs on the 15th, can help you to become much more conscious of balancing work and home needs. If something's out of kilter, then do look at it. But the solar eclipse, which occurs towards the end of that month on the 29th, well, this is a real opportunity for you to grow and expand and to link with people that you feel comfortable with, that you can network well with. This occurs in your 11th solar house, providing a backdrop for the next 6 months. So your hopes, dreams and aspirations are given a wonderful boost through till the following October. However, Mars does eventually move on from that very sensitive location that it holds through to the end of July, and then it moves into Scorpio. But towards the end of August, it's going to be side by side with Saturn. This could see your temper being very close to the surface, and it's something you need to be conscious of. When Mars and Saturn are side by side, it's almost like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. It really doesn't work so well, and you have to be profoundly disciplined. But there could be something important, very important, that happens around your love life at this time. Then we come into the October eclipses, and these work out in a different way, an almost convex way from the eclipses that occurred earlier in the year. In a very positive context for you, this is going to see you being able to demonstrate that you can be very playful, that you can be fun, that Saturn's not going to drain you of all your lightness and levitation, because it can have a potential to do that in this location. But then the solar eclipse, which occurs right at the very end of October, well, this is entirely different. This gives you the permission to demonstrate your talents and what you can do. So this can be very, very good for you. However, the square between Uranus and Pluto that's going to be going on all but 3 months this year does come back into focus again towards the end of this year. And it does suggest that relationships in your professional situation can be very volatile at times this year. It could be that you're encountering a boss that's unpredictable, changeable, keeps moving the goalpost, which is hugely frustrating. Or maybe you just want different things, and you can't have all of the things all at the same time. And if you do act in a very random way and at times are a bit reckless, then it could see you garnering a lot of opposition from other people. So try to slow down, not be too defensive this year, not too hasty. Your old talent for working collaboratively with people is one that you should hold very dear, and this can continue to be a year of growth and great progress. Now, Jupiter does move in the middle of July into your sector of resources, and that can have fantastic implications for your cash flow. Some good fortune can definitely come for you in the second half of this year, but it is just countering that desire to be very outspoken professionally, which could have an impact on your relationships when you just need to be a bit more conscious of the politics. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and have a fantastic 2014.